Hello and welcome to episode 23 of Let's Play Planet Coaster Project Globe Explorer here on Theme Park Worldwide. In this episode, I'm going to be working on some of the infrastructure outside of the theme park itself, starting off by building this Carpark Tram. So this will transport guests from the car parks down to the entrance of the theme park. So we're going to be putting this in. Along with that, there's going to be another mode of transport going in. That's more to actually transport people around the entertainment district and between the themed hotels that I'm going to be working on in the next episode, or at least starting to anyway by building the main hotel, but I'll talk more about that later on and also the positioning of it. But yeah, we're going to be putting in a cable car attraction that's going to transport guests between those. So yeah, it's all about infrastructure. Going to be working on the entertainment district, a few more buildings around there, theming it all up. And by the end of this episode, this whole area that you can see here, sort of at the back of the China area in the main park, will all be filled in with infrastructure. Other than one small part of it that I am still saving for, hopefully I'm going to get to build that China themed dark ride that I wanted to do. However, it all depends on how the game continues to keep running. So far, of course, we've lost quite a bit of FPS with the game from the start of the series. However, it is still playable, it's still bearable, and it's running. So that area to the right of the train track that you can see there, that is where I'm actually hoping to build this Chinese themed dark ride and have like a great wall sort of behind the coaster. That's my plan for it anyway. I mean, I'm really hoping to. If I can't build it, the expansion pad's going to be left there. I'm not going to be putting anything else on there now. It has been reduced a little bit, obviously, to fit the parking tram here, and also put in the berm that separates the park with the outside world. But I wanted to make sure that you know, I left enough space for a small dark ride, nothing huge. It's not going to be a trackless, I don't think, anymore. That was my original plan. It's probably going to be a small tracked dark ride going in there, but we'll see what we can fit in the space, and hopefully that is something that I'll still be able to build. But it all depends on how the game runs, because I'm really happy with what I've built in the park itself. Now it was about filling outside the park, you know, this entertainment district, putting in some accommodation, you know, before it becomes unplayable from putting in too much stuff in the park. So that's the plan. It's all about this infrastructure, and if we go way back to the start of the series, of course I put in all of the British sort of part of the entertainment district, a couple of restaurants at either side of the entrance, all the monorail, all that sort of infrastructure. So that's kind of what we're working on with this today, building up on that to transport guests around. As you can see, the parking trolley is now in place. These are a feature at many theme parks across the world, especially over in the States. The Disney parks, they have them to transport you around the car park and take you to the main entrance. Parks like Busch Gardens in Tampa Bay, they've got them. Busch Gardens Williamsburg, like loads of the parks have got these parking trolleys. It's not really something that we do in the UK. I guess it's because our parks just aren't big enough. I mean, I suppose the part that could get away with it is Alton Towers, but obviously they have got the monorail system. But you never know, one day when the monorail comes to the end of its life, we may see something like parking trolleys come in. And a big shout out to Charlotte with this one. She loves her parking trolleys. It's nearly been 3 weeks now since me and Charlotte last saw each other. You know, of course we are struggling now with the whole sort of self-isolation thing, you know, but we just gotta, for the best of everybody, stay at home, stay indoors. And I really hope that you've been enjoying the very different style of videos that we've been putting on Theme Park Worldwide. It's certainly a challenging time for us, but luckily we were prepared with many different video ideas and videos that have been pre-filmed to upload onto the channel. So the good thing is, nowhere near running out of content. There's still loads and loads of videos that we've got planned to film, and of course lots and lots of on-ride POVs, off-ride videos, and so much more to come on the channel. So our daily uploads will be continuing as normal. So you can see I've just moved the train track a little bit there, just so this berm could be built a little bit bigger. I don't really want guests on the train to see outside too much. Don't mind a little bit, but I don't want them to see loads of stuff, you know, on the outside world. So just moving that in a little bit. But you can see now the exact space what there is for this dark ride. You know, it's not a huge area, but we can fit in something there. You know, you don't need a large amount of space to do something spectacular, you know, and it's probably going to be, like I say, a tracked ride in there. Hopefully that I'll be able to build. But we're putting this tunnel in around the train track there just to block that in a little bit more and just stop them guests from seeing out too much. You know, I don't want them to see the car park over there. I want them to be immersed in this world of being on the train, but likewise I don't really want people on the parking tram to directly see a big show building next to it either that they could potentially be. So it's about blocking all of that in. Right, starting work now on one of my favourite ever attractions. Love a good cable car, chairlift, sky ride, whatever you want to call them. I love them. So starting work on this now, of course making sure that I'm spacing out those supports the best that I can do. At the back here, I thought it looked a little bit silly actually, having the monorail track and then this right next to it. So I thought I'm going to move it in a little bit, and you'll see me just debating now. I zoom out all the time and look, and I put that in and I thought, no, that doesn't look great. Bear in mind, that isn't going to be covered up at all, whereas I'll explain something what I'm going to be doing in a minute, but with this, I thought let's aim for that little island what I've got in the middle of the water there. Of course I could have moved that if I'd wanted to, but I thought no, let's aim for a support on there, one at the other side, and then it keeps it looking quite neat. Now, this location that we're in now is all going to be indoors. This is actually going to be a large hotel. It's not going to be the one I'm going to be building in the next episode. That's going to be the main sort of big grand hotel. But this will be another one in the resort. So actually, with the plannings with this, I mean, I love the contemporary at Walt Disney World. Of course, how the monorail passes straight through the hotel. I love that, and I thought, let's go for that, but not also just have a monorail passing through the hotel. Let's have a sky ride that actually passes through the hotel. So that's the plan with that one. I'm not going to put stops for the monorail or the sky ride in there. However, if it was a real park and actually operating, it would have a stop in there for both of them. But there's not really much point in putting them in, because in terms of the guest flow and stuff like that around the park, you know, so I want to make sure that people are flowing well, but you will be able to pass through there still on the cable car. It's just there's not going to actually be a station for that or the monorail inside it. But yeah, that's going to be the second hotel that I'm going to be building. In terms of how many hotels can fit on here, it was originally designed for up to 5 to fit on this plot of land all over this side. As I've got a few different ideas going around in my head and also thinking how's the game going to run, I'm initially planning to build 2 hotels and also a set of like log cabins as well. So that's what I'm initially planning to build. Hopefully all that will be able to take place, and then we'll go from there. We'll see how the game's running and all that kind of stuff. But you know, not too bad considering how much there is in the park, and there's a high amount of theming. You've got a big dark ride in there now. You know, I didn't know how it was going to run still, but actually it's not too bad. It's more going to be when we get guests back inside the park. So yeah, really pleased with how that looks. Of course, very much inspired by the Disney Skyliner with this. I mean, I love that. I think it's a great way of transporting you around Walt Disney World in Florida. So I thought let's incorporate that into this park, have a nice scenic ride all across the area, and it also works as some transportation between this hotel that of course is part of the resort, but it's quite far away from the main entrance to the park. So this is the inner core, so to speak, of the hotel I'm putting in now. This is all I'm doing initially. You know, this isn't the finished design or anything like that. It's literally just a white box that I'm putting around there just to give me an idea on sight lines, and I'm not exactly too sure what this hotel is going to look like yet. I know exactly what the main one is. However, with this one, I'm still sort of deciding on them ideas how I want this hotel to look. So it's more about just having a little play about with it, putting in this box around it for now, and then I'll sort of build out from that with the hotel. You've got to think, you know, if it was real inside this, you'd have like restaurants and bars and stuff, you know, with the actual gondolas going through. That's how I'd have it, you know, maybe your glass panels behind a bar or something. Like imagine like all your bottles of alcohol and stuff in the bar, like all up on the wall, and then behind that having a glass see-through wall, and then you had like gondolas going behind it. Like I'd do something really cool like that, but obviously, you know, there's not that much point really with this, you know, with it being indoors. It's more about the exterior of this, and of course, you know, it's not real, is it? I'm trying my best to make things as realistic as I can, but I'm not going to go and fit out a full hotel interior. You know, there's going to be a little bit inside what I need to put in, but I'm not going to be doing a full interior of the hotels, you know, sadly. I suppose you could do, but it's not something that I'm gonna focus on with this. It's more about the exterior and of course making sure people can actually sleep in there. I mean, that is the beauty of this game. You know, you can actually put in real hotel blocks, you know, and decide on pricing and facilities and stuff, which is amazing. You know, but you can't really go and do like all your hotel interior properly, so I'm gonna sort of stay away from that. As we can see, I'm just working on one of the buildings now. This is around the parking trolley towards the entrance of the park. So I'm working on this. These are going to be identical buildings for both of the stations. Same also with the sky ride. So the beauty of Planet Coaster, unlike like Roller Coaster Tycoon, is the fact we can actually copy and paste these and just make a couple of tweaks depending on where the entrance and exit is. But that's the plan. You know, we're going to use this station building and put it up on the other one as well, and I'll just change the signage so it's necessary. In terms of the theme of all these buildings, now I'm just going with a bit of a vintage style look with both of the sky ride and also the parking trolley. They're not being themed to a country, so they're not going to be part of the United Kingdom. Everything that's themed to the United Kingdom will be when you cross over the bridge, which is just the right of where I'm working now. When you cross like under the sky ride, over the bridge and onto that island, that is when you're in the United Kingdom. So that's why the restaurants and everything all have that sort of look. The entrance buildings, the monorail, that's all part of the United Kingdom. So yeah, just working on these now and adding some more details, using quite a bit of stuff from the Vintage Pack DLC. I really like some of them roof pieces, what you can get in there on all these different sides. I just think they look great. The vintage part that I built a couple of series back, I was really pleased how that turned out in terms of all the different buildings. So I thought, let's try and replicate something like that here. What I do really like is how we can see the B&M coaster just behind it in the China area, how it peeks through the trees. I think it looks really, really nice. Very sort of realistic in a way. You'll walk down here and through the trees you'll just see and hear this huge B&M coaster just roaring in the China themed area of the park. So yeah, I'm a big fan of how that looks from outside, and it'll be the same for all the rides. You've got to think like the big double launch coaster that you can in the Spanish themed area. You'll see that on the other side. So my plan is to sort of do this side of the entertainment district over here is going to be more a couple of restaurants and bars and that sort of thing. Nothing too much because of how close it is to the hotels. There is going to be some nightclubs and some nightlife. However, that's going to be on the other side of the small lake on the right hand side. And that's all because of proximity to the hotels. I don't want to start putting in nightclubs and stuff too close to accommodation. You've got to think on the opposite side of where we are here. That's where I'm planning to build like these log cabins, like a escape resort, with all these log cabins and stuff. So that's the plan. Obviously you wouldn't want to have a nightclub on the other side of the water opposite that, else it'd really take away from it. So that's the plan. That's all going to be built down to the right hand side. This is more transport infrastructure, a couple of bars and restaurants on this side, and I've got an idea for having this big like steamboat as well, which is just at the side. I mean, you can't actually let guests go on it in the game. However, if you could, I'd definitely have that as a restaurant. So if it was a real park, that would be a restaurant. But yeah, I know exactly where that's going to go, so I'm going to put that in shortly, just on the corner at the side. But yeah, it's more about just adding some more details now into this building. You'll see that I build the next building for the sky ride shortly, and then copy and paste that and put it up at the other station and just change a few little bits around on there as well. So anyway, I'll let you enjoy a bit of relaxing Planet Coaster music for the next few minutes, and I'll come back shortly. And I'm also going to be revealing the names for the Giant Discovery and also the Enterprise rides that I built in the previous episode over in our Arctic themed area. So as you've seen over the past few minutes, I've been working on the building that's all around the Carpark Trolley station. I think that looks really, really good now. It's got a very vintage feel to it, and that's going to continue now as I work on this building for the Skyride station. We've got this really nice red sort of coloured brick on there that I really like, and then along with that, going with like a grey sort of roof on there, and then we'll go over some other fixtures and fittings that are a lot brighter, such as the windows, then really nice vintage pack roof pieces that I'm a huge fan of, so we'll put those on there as well. Of course, you know, with the transportation rides that we've put in, it's all about getting people from the hotels and car parks to the entrance of the park. However, some people might just want to ride them and enjoy the scenery on there, you know, so obviously if you are coming down from the car parks, you can either walk, you can get the Carpark Trolley, or you can get the Skyride if you wanted to. The Skyride's definitely the longest option because of obviously it goes through the hotels, you know, it's diverted round and it's more designed for hotel guests. However, if you did arrive in your car and wanted to take it, you can do, you know, or you can get the Carpark Trolley. That's definitely the quickest option, that brings you straight down to the entrance here, or you can walk if you want to as well. So it's probably quicker walking than it would be getting on the Skyride just here if you're coming from the car parks, but obviously it's ideal if you're coming over from the hotels area. So yeah, coming together nicely. Love these vintage pieces of theming and roof packs and all these little pieces of decor. Really am a big fan of all of these. I just think they look really nice and vibrant, and like I say, especially when you've got like a red background like that, you can put all these brighter pieces on and they look great. In terms of what I'm going to be doing around all these buildings, of course, a little bit of hashtag rock work going in. Got a little bit of Sean's Rocks going in there. Lots of trees and planting, shrubs all the way around. Of course, we'll put some nice lighting in just to fill in a lot of these gaps all the way around there as well. So, you know, there's not going to be loads and loads of buildings on this side. Like I say, you know, I don't want to build it up too much, especially with the hotels looking over it. It's more about having a nice relaxing area with a couple of restaurants and bars, and we'll work on putting in like some nightclubs and that sort of stuff on the other side of the United Kingdom, just so, you know, it's a little bit further away from the accommodation, and that can go later into the night. I may also look at another form of transportation. I might look at putting in some boats that actually run along the waterfront there. I could probably use the same ride system as what I've built in the Africa themed area in the park, except on a much bigger scale, and actually use it as a multi-station transportation ride. This is the beauty of Planet Coaster, isn't it? You can just select a whole building, pick it up and drop it somewhere else, and saves a lot of time. So that's gone straight in there. Obviously my entrances and exits aren't really in the right place now, but I could easily, you know, there's numerous options there. You could design it that they are in the same place, or you can do what I'm doing now and just making it a little bit different, just, you know, so it doesn't look an identical clone of the other building. Took a couple of minutes just to change a few walls around, delete a couple of bits, move a few windows across, and hey presto, there you go, it was all moved and ready into place. And then of course I can just move my paths to make sure that all lines up. But I love transportation rides, you know, that's why I wanted to do a big resort like this and have a focus on it. My original park I did 3 years ago now, Volcano Springs, didn't really focus on the resort side of it that much. Yes, it had a big hotel at the entrance, but you know, it didn't have much of an outside of the park, and you know, that's exactly why I wanted to make sure that the theme park of this project of Atlas Adventure didn't end up taking up the whole map, and we had a large space to work on some hotels and transportation and just make it realistic. You know, I've said this before, I'm not necessarily you know, a huge roller coaster enthusiast. It's more about the theme parks and the overall package for me. Of course I love roller coasters, but you know, it's definitely more about the full package of the theme park, like transportation rides, dark rides, theming, landscaping. That's what it all comes down to, and that's what I'm doing here now. And we're building up all of this berm now around the train track, just so you don't really see out too much. It doesn't matter as much looking out this way towards the lake, because all you'll see is these nicely decorated buildings and the hotel that's going to be built in the background. But I don't really want you to see out too much from the train looking towards the car park, as that would really ruin it. Imagine being you know, at Disney and looking out to the car park on one of their rides in the park itself. It wouldn't really be that good of an experience, you know. Of course, the monorail at Disney that connects between the parks and stuff, then yeah, you're going to see out because you're on a monorail. But, you know, when it comes to something that's inside the park itself, like this train here, Atlas Adventure, want to make sure that the views are the best they can be. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of landscaping's coming in. This is where I was starting to think now about putting in some more trees and really thinking about where I wanted to put some restaurants, bars, and a couple of other buildings just on this side of the entertainment district. Like I say, this isn't the main focus of the district. It's more just a little bit of, you know, a couple of buildings on the way to the park. It's mostly going to start sort of from the United Kingdom onwards, you know, with that. But I thought we've got this lovely little corner here. I know where I'm going to put this boat on the corner in a second. Let's make a little restaurant on there. So here comes the big steamboat. Oh, I love that. Really nice big Mississippi. Thought, hang on, move them trees again now. Put them in the wrong place. That's the thing with this game. It's all experimenting, isn't it? Then we got that boat. That would be a lovely bar and restaurant if you could let guests onto it. Unfortunately, you can't in the game. You can maybe try and build some paths or something that went through it, but yeah, I don't think it'd look great, really. You know, you want to have that really functioning. So if this was a real park, that would be functioning as a bar and restaurant, sitting there on the side of the waters, and it'd have a really, really nice atmosphere. You come out of the park when it closes, walk, stroll along, go and have a drink in there and a meal, and then walk back to your hotel. You know, that whole resort field is what we're going for here with Atlas Adventure. This is another bar that I'm working on, an outdoor one this time, along the waterfront. Gonna have a bit of a jetty along there as well, with a couple of little areas for you just to sit down, relax and take it all in, and start work on the building there. Going with a bit of a German style build with this one. You know, maybe this place is sort of have like bratwursts and all that kind of stuff, maybe your big steins of beer and all that kind of stuff going on here. But I'm imagining that sort of Oktoberfest style vibe, what would go on sort of outside here. You know, you'd have like a live sort of Oompa band, and you know, next to the waterfront, and just getting people going, and a very family orientated feel with all of this. But anyway, as I'm working on these, let's have a throwback then to the last couple of episodes. Of course, I was working on our Arctic themed area. Come together really well. A lot of you guys think it looks amazing, which I'm really pleased about. Like I say, I had a bit of a change of heart with it when I was building it and decided to change it from Antarctica to the Arctic. A good move, you know, it fits a lot better with the theme now. The dark ride came out really well, and check it out in the previous episode, number 22, if you've not already seen it. So yeah, really pleased with how that looks. However, we've still got two rides. What need? Naming. So that's what we're going to do now. Let's have a little look at what we've got. So we've got the Enterprise and the Giant Discovery that both need names. Let's start off with the name for the Enterprise, shall we? And a big thank you to YouTube user British Thrill Seeker for coming up with swirling snowmobiles. Oh, I love it. So here's the story, big storyline behind it. The employees at SnowCorp, the same company known for their infamous failed boat tours, are testing their newest snowmobile model called the Velosnow X50, sorry, in a race between each other. But once the race is underway, the engines of the snowmobiles malfunction because they weren't developed properly, and it sends everyone out of control, spiraling through loops and turns uncontrollably. Join SnowCorp and ride through this chaotic test. I love it. Thanks to British Thrill Seeker for that one. It's swirling snowmobiles. Then we've got the Giant Discovery in the area as well. The Gyro Swing, whatever you want to call it, but it is technically modelled off a Giant Discovery. And Piano Sam's come up with this one, Experiment Eco. And here's the story behind this one. An experiment to create energy with snow, much like a water or windmill, goes wrong when it's blown out of place by the unusually high winds caused by Operation Overcast. And as it's left swinging from side to side, this urgency must be fixed as the SnowCorp facility will run out of energy soon and everyone inside will freeze. Can you save the facility? I love it. We've got swirling snowmobiles and Experiment Eco, both of those for the two rides over in our Arctic themed area. So thank you very, very much for coming up with those. You guys are amazing at coming up with names for all of my creations here in Planet Coaster. coaster, and as always, I really appreciate it. I am going to be needing a name for the hotel that I'm going to be building in the next episode, so nothing yet. Don't comment on this one with any names. I want you to see the hotel first before you name it, but it is going to have a very British feel, and it's going to be built directly opposite the main entrance, so I'm going to make sure that it's perfectly opposite the main entrance, so it sort of reflects that. But it's going to be huge. I mean, we're talking, you know, the hotel's probably going to be twice the size of the entrance street that we put in way back at the start of this series. So massive hotel, but it'll fit with the sight lines when you look from inside the British area looking back towards it. It'll fit in just right there because I'm going to make sure of that. So it should be perfect, really, behind the monorail station. I'm also going to have another bridge that connects over directly to it. Yeah, so you can go straight into it. The monorail is also going to pass through it. However, that's not going to have a station in there. And even if it was a real park, it wouldn't actually have a station for the monorail inside it. That's because of the close proximity to the entrance. It is literally going to be a short walk over a bridge. So I thought that, you know, I'm not going to put a monorail station in there because of that. So that's coming up in the next episode, number 24, and soon we're going to be approaching 100 Planet Coaster videos on Theme Park Worldwide. How amazing is that? And I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who supported Theme Park Worldwide and, of course, our Planet Coaster series. I've built various different parks now since the game first came out, and I've got no plans of stopping yet. I've got some really good ideas for future projects, but instead of working on another theme park next, my plan is to sort of build some individual rides and proper go to town on heavy theming and not having to worry about the FPS so much because it won't be in a park, it'll just be a standalone ride. So that's my plan next when we come out of this series, to build some standalone rides that you guys can sort of watch over 1 or 2 episodes, and then I'll move on to the next ride, and it's focusing on indoor rides, dark coasters, that sort of idea. So that's certainly something for you guys to all look forward to, but we're not at the end yet of this series. There's still some more to come, of course, so I wouldn't like to guess how many episodes there are left. It all depends on how the game continues to run, but you know, I'm hoping to just keep going on until we can do. I certainly don't want to have blank areas within the main parts of the park and resort areas. However, I will leave some space for expansion for you guys as well. So just off to the left of where you are now on board our wonderful new sky ride, that's where we're going to be building the new hotel in the next episode of Let's Play Planet Coaster here on Theme Park Worldwide. But yeah, really pleased with that. Nice and realistic ride in there. We'll have a little ride on the parking trolley shortly as well, as you'll see here. And there we go. As we drive away from the main entrance of Atlas Adventure Resort and back to the car parks, it's time to end this episode. But thank you very much for watching. I'll be back soon with episode 24 here on Theme Park Worldwide, and that means it's time to cue those credits. See you all in the next episode.